How's it going, everyone? This is Zflex and welcome back to another A Producer's Approach video. In this video we're going to be looking at Calliope Mori's song End of Life. So again, this is like the third song off the friends recommendation videos that I'm kind of doing just for my friends. Shout out to them. And this is probably going to be the last recommendation video, at least for the kind of 3-part video series that I'm doing. So this song was sent to me by my buddy EarthFox. If you guys have been seeing comments on my videos and such, or EarthFox and I have been, listening to EDM since we were like back in high school, our last year of high school. So we've been trading and sending each other music for, oh man, so many years now. And he's also a big Monster Cat fan as well. So I got him into a lot more of the Monster Cat stuff, but he showed me a lot of the more underground artists, and like music channels like Galaxy Music, Chimera Music, Diversity. He showed me a lot of those, where I showed him a lot more Monster Cat stuff. So I credit him for knowing artists like Two Thirds, Siren Soul, and many others. But our current favorite Monster Cat guy is Stone Bank right now. That's just kind of the one artist we know, like, oh, he'll make bangers. But anyways, he sent me this song which I had never heard of. Apparently it's a really popular song, because as you can see, there's like 7 million views on the song. And I don't know if Calliope Mori does the vocals for her own song, or if this is the creator themselves, but apparently this is like a pretty big song. So this song in itself, I don't really know what it is. Kind of gives me the lo-fi music vibes, but I'd probably call this more like electronic genre in terms of like kind of more EDM stuff. So that's kind of what I'm just gonna call it. So anyways, if you guys haven't watched my videos in the past, I break down these videos into 3 different parts. I have an intro backstory section, then a breakdown analysis section, and then lastly I just have an outro section to wrap up my thoughts. So this is End of Life, sent to me by my buddy EarthFox. Thanks, man. And we'll get into the breakdown now and see what we're in for.
We'd run right through those nights. I'll never find my way back to you. Inside this labyrinth of light, there was madness in the meaning. Never laughed less. We were screaming at the top of our lungs to the numbness. This city never died.
Alright, so just to kind of start off that song, it's really nice how the piano and the vocals are really paired together. Reminds me a lot of like an intro to like a Porter Robinson song in a sense, where the piano is playing and then like the vocalist is singing. I'm assuming the vocalist is Calliope Mori, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I like that pairing. And also just with this video, I like how the lyrics are on the screen. Sometimes I don't always catch the lyrics when they don't include them in the video. So I really do appreciate it when artists or labels or promotion companies include the vocals in the video so I can follow along. But anyways, it's really good pairing kind of to introduce the song. Kind of gives that lo-fi kind of vibe. And then you kind of hear like a riser or like a pad being introduced now. So we'll keep on going and we'll keep listening to the song.
I was hopeless, it was stinging, running roadless. We were singing at the top of our lungs to the numbness. This city never died. What was the root?
Alright, so I guess this part that you're going to see here is kind of what the drop would be, but I don't think there really is a drop to the song. So what I noticed in this section was the vocals were playing. There's a new string instrument that was kind of introduced almost as like a pad along playing with the piano, but the vocals were really cool because there's like stacked vocals in there, almost like the vocals were duetting, but it was stacking the vocals so they have like more of a layer, more depth, almost like where like some of the vocal phrases were like, it sounded like it was either doubled in terms of the vocals or there was like a little bit higher of a pitch, so it kind of made like a more full vocal, which is really cool. That's like a common technique I think a lot of producers use for like when working with vocals. You can like double it or vocal stack them and then make them a lot wider and sound fuller. So that's really cool. I noticed that in certain parts of the vocal there. So that's pretty much all I noticed. So let's see, keep on going.
I couldn't say. Used to jump in that fall, rugged and cliched. Would shrug it off without complaint, not a sound. I used to try to find friends, cause in the end nobody sticks around. It's when you shoved yourself into a crowded place that you turned around and found yourself in love in outer space. Cue the reckless nights, no strings, laughing at our own dreams. Just what the hell was so funny? Back up the wrong tree, stumble, used to fall in great heights amidst a concrete jungle, singing cause it felt right. We mixed the ennui and troubles, rhyming our discontent. And though it's history, I can't forget the time that we spent. Convinced that this could mean another end exists between real and pretend. Twisted alter fiction where I missed my chance to not ascend and disappearing into the mist. It never happened, is the me that I can never befriend. I let it go, fade out.
All right, so what I noticed in that section is there's kind of like a synth in the back going doom doom, as well as the piano playing. The strings kind of come in and out, and then the percussive rhythm is really clean, but it reminds me more of like a it sounds almost like more acoustic almost type percussion samples being used, but the rhythm just reminds me kind of like of either like a rock song, like a slowed down rock song, or a kind of like a swing beat almost, in a sense, like not actual swing music, but kind of like that kind of swing beat almost in a way. But the closest comparison I could think of was like a rock rhythm, where it's like doom doom cha, like it kind of reminded me of that, like the whole rhythm of it all. And then the vocals are really good. And yeah, there were a couple like VFX that were used to kind of like a sweeps and stuff like that, but nothing too major. But you could tell there's like a lot of reverb and delay on the vocals, and there were times too in this last part where the vocals were stacked as well to give a little more emphasis on that one part of the vocal, which is a really creative use. They stack the vocal in that way, so pretty interesting. Let's keep going. All right, so that part was interesting. You kind of hear the percussion kind of come back in. The percussion wasn't in there. The vocals changed, but then the percussion comes back in, and then just kind of slowly kind of filters in. And then I think the piano and the kind of pad is playing, and then the vocals are singing, and then like, you know, towards the kind of build up section, I guess you'd almost say, they kind of like have an effect where they almost wind down per se, or they pitch down, which is really cool. I don't hear that too many times in EDM songs per se, like in Monster Cat releases, so that's like a interesting creative use there. And then in this section, almost sounds like a saxophone or some type of brass instrument or woodwind instruments being introduced. So I'm curious to hear that. It has a more kind of jazzy type feel, almost like. So let's keep going.
This labyrinth of light, there was madness in the meaning, never laughless. We were screaming at the top of our lungs to the numbness. This city never died, but was there ever a soul inside? Chasing fireflies between the soaring high rises, left a trail behind to find a way.
All right, so there was a saxophone sound being played. I hear it because I'm wearing headphones right now. I hear it on the right side. And it almost was like complementing the vocals and also the strings, because I heard the strings more on the left side of my headphones. But it's almost like a calm response between the vocal and the strings and the saxophone being played. So that's really cool. Made it feel like a really kind of jazzy kind of section there. So that's just really cool. Other than that, there were some other VFX kind of transitioning. The percussion rhythm's pretty much the same, which is really smooth and good. So let's keep going.
in time of our lives. Silent singer, overworked and underpaid. Inks and opposites, a coffin until office where you're laid. Yet a thought persistent optimist who ought to be afraid. Saw the nothing wrong in writing songs behind the lonely shade. Is the world a sadder place without the words that you conveyed? When the ladder fell and shattered every bar that we had played. Does it matter in the end? The sound diminished and decayed. And your friends grew tired of fantasy, you're wishing they had stayed. You don't get to say I miss you. You watch your heroes fade into the rear view mirror of the villain you portrayed. Stop the pity party, listen, you don't get to be dismayed. You don't get to be emotional, if you're blessed you got it made. These the best of years of life because you chose to make a trade. Recollect the days you hoped and you prayed for this. What is there to miss? Fade in, fade.
Alright, so that part was interesting. There is a piano being played, but it's not like playing all the time. It's not playing like the chord progression. There is like a main kind of synth playing like dun 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 dun, kind of like a synth playing that like that, and then there's a string sound also that was reintroduced that you kind of hear throughout the song. It gets kind of reintroduced in certain parts when the vocal is kind of, there's like a break in the vocal, I guess, or at the end of a phrase. Same with the piano, kind of gets introduced at the end of like the phrases with the arp. So that's really cool. And then in this part it kind of transitions back, but I like the different use of the vocals. Like it's not the same vocals in each part. This fade in fade out part seems to me like the kind of at least build up vocal hook in a sense. So let's keep going to see what the actual vocal hook is.
It's the end of a made-up story. Line no proof. Those heights, I'll never find another chance to say, hey, thanks for saving.
Alright, so in that kind of second build-up section, or third build-up section per se, I just wanted to note that the percussion is going through like a high-pass filter to when it eventually comes back in the drop. And the structure of that kind of build-up section there is pretty similar to the build-up into the, I want to say like second drop. And this second drop seems to be in the same way where the saxophone is kind of reintroduced. So the structure seems pretty similar. So this might be kind of like the main hook of the song in this sense, where the vocals are kind of repeated. So let's keep going.
My life, I was hopeless, escaping, driving roadless. We were singing at the top of our lungs to the numbness. This city never died. I'll say goodbye to the soul inside. Got no chance in this life. So shine till the train runs by. We know it's done. It's the same words we know now. Let me daydream till the next night. I'll keep waiting. I'll keep waiting for you.
Alright, so there's a lot to unpack in that section. A lot more than I even remember hearing in the song. Like the first part of the drop is pretty similar to the second drop, but then when the duet kind of hits with the vocals, it's really nice. There's a really huge calm response section there with like the main vocal playing, and then there's different like vocal phrases being included in that section as you see in the video. So you can hear like the calm response just between the vocals, almost like a duet in a sense, in that drop, which is really cool. And then after that, that also continues to the vocal almost having a duet and a calm response with the saxophone, which is really cool. So it just switches from the vocals kind of having a calm response section to like the vocals having a calm response section with the saxophone, which is really cool. That's a really nice use of like the last part of the drop, and it just gives it way more variation within that drop, so that's really cool. And then this outro section, there's the piano, there's some pads and other stuff by that, but I was really just blown away by that duet section. So let's finish the song and I'll kind of wrap up my thoughts there.
Waking up now to my real life, let me daydream. So the next flight, drowning so long, I got older. Now the crowd's gone, is it over? Is it over?
Alright, so that is Calliope Mori's song, End of Life. That outro is really cool. It has the pianos kind of playing. Sounds like a high key piano and then maybe like a chordal piano along with the vocals kind of outroing. Similar vocals to what started the song. So this song is quite interesting. It's very different than a lot of the other songs that I've listened to. The structure's a little more unique, but overall it's a really good song. Some takeaways I like from the song is I like how the vocal is the main focus of this whole song. The drops are all different. There's like various different vocal phrases, and then there's like kind of that one vocal loop kind of leading in kind of into the, like as the build into the main drop section. But there's just so many different techniques with the vocals that are really, really good. And just like the ambient sounds in the background are also really good too. Just the piano and the strings, and just the use of the doubling of the vocals and stacking of the vocals, and then adding a saxophone and having a call and response section with the vocals and the saxophone. Man, that's just crazy. And then the kind of rap-like vocals is pretty interesting. So, wow, this song is a lot better than I actually even remembered. So, anyways, the song is really good. It reminds me a lot of like a Porter Robinson song, just in the structure of the song itself, the video, and just like the way the vocals kind of work, and the whole instrumentation and instruments and synths used in the song remind me of a Porter Robinson song. So anyways, thanks again EarthFox for the recommendation of this song. This is a really good recommendation to end on for these 3 videos. So thanks again, man. And if you guys like these videos, like, subscribe, comment. I'm pretty sure EarthFox will be commenting on this video, or at least I hope so. So anyways, check out this artist and the song. And anyways, thanks again to all 3 of my friends for recommending me music, and I hope to pay it forward for you guys supporting this channel. So anyways, I hope to see you guys in the next video, and that's it. Peace.